Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Master Debating. I'm your host, Matt Sossler. Today we have an excellent battle set up for you, but before I introduce the topic, let's get to know our contestant. First to my right, the pride of Queens, New York, a 5'10", 180-pound free weight, John Vicari. And to my left, his opponent, a 5'9", 135-pound lightweight from Pascack Valley, New Jersey, Ben Backrack. Guys, ready to get this thing going?
Yeah, I guess.
Let's do it.
Just kidding. Really man, I'm so pumped for this. Thanks for having me on.
Love the passion, and let's now get to introduce our topic. With the holidays coming up, it means a lot of time inside with family and a lot of time in front of the television watching animated films. These two will argue which edition of the famous Shrek saga is best. Starting off with question number one, the music in all of these films is absolutely iconic. Ben, I'm starting with you. Pick one song from Shrek 1, that's the film that you are arguing, and explain why it trumps Shrek 2.
Well, I mean, there's honestly no better song in all of movie history than All-Star in Shrek. I mean, you watch that scene and it's just unbelievable. Everything about it is perfect. The song is still popular today. All-Star is the best song, not only in the Shrek franchise, not only in Shrek 1, but in all of movie history.
You mentioned all of movie history. I hear Shrek 2 has some as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could just go on and list them. Changes by David Bowie, Funky Town by Lips Incorporated. But I'm going to go with a surprise here, and I'm going to go with the Fairy Godmother song. That's how it's billed on the Shrek 2 soundtrack, and it's a change and alternation of I Need a Hero. And the Jennifer Saunders, who plays the Fairy Godmother's version of it, is better than the original version. It's unbelievable. It's a song that plays in the climax of Shrek 2 when Shrek is coming on his horse, which is Donkey because they switch bodies. And and he comes and gets Fiona before Prince Charming manipulates her, kisses her, and it's the song that goes into the climax. It's unbelievable. You're on the edge of your seat the whole time, and the song fits the moment where your song is just the beginning. Your song is just the beginning to get through the credits. That song's playing, and it's like, executive produced by this, directed by this. Mike Myers is in this for some reason. That's why my song actually is involved in the plot, while Shrek's just showering, he's doing his regular day stuff during your song. But yeah.
John, I completely understand that, and I get what you're saying there, but your first introduction in Shrek is that banger of a song.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't have to wait. I mean, obviously, the climax, that's a great song. I'm not faulting you there. All-Star is the beginning of the movie. That's how you're introduced to the first Shrek movie ever. First song, All-Star.
Absolutely.
I mean, it gets your attention.
You want to build to crescendo, and I'll argue that Shrek 2's beginning song is not as great as Shrek's ones, but the songs just keep getting better. They keep evolving. They keep building to the moment, to the climax. It builds up by stages. It builds up by levels.
You act like Shrek 1 doesn't have other bangers on the soundtrack.
It does, but
absolutely.
It does. Your favorite song or the best song is the beginning. Mine.
Do you ever stop talking, John?
Last point.
Okay, last point.
That's why they put me on the show.
I'm a believer. I haven't even talked about Hallelujah. That song, come on, tears to your eyes. It's beautiful. All-Star is great. Soundtrack overall is just better.
That's time, and now we're going to move on to our next question.
That's how you do it in 10 seconds.
Both of you mentioned the plot, and let's talk a little bit about this. Each film has its respective plot. How do you think, which key moment in your plot arc do you think makes your film supreme? John, let's start with you.
Oh, jeez. I mean, there's the introduction of characters in terms of Puss in Boots arrives on the scene, as well as all the side characters, the Fairy Godmother, Prince Charming. But I think it can be defined, actually, when Shrek turns into a human. The whole time that you're watching this movie, Shrek really doesn't have... his father-in-law is trying to manipulate him, but it doesn't happen until he is thrown, accosted, and an assassin in Puss in Boots tries to assassinate him. He obviously doesn't, and Shrek has a realization moment where he might have to.
John.
Well, we're describing the plot here, the movie, Ben. You have to sort of spoil a little. Sorry to those who haven't seen it. But in terms of Shrek 2, when Puss in Boots loses to Shrek, but Shrek realizes, I might have to change myself to have the woman that I love.
Do you want a solo show about Shrek?
I
thought this was a debate. I thought this was a debate.
I have to establish my point, Benjamin.
Just go.
John, 10 seconds, and then Ben, you'll go.
In turn, he has to realize I have to change myself, takes a magic elixir to change himself from ogre form to human form just for someone he loves, just so he can conform, because that's where he's willing to go.
I mean, we're talking. I forgot the question at this point. I think we're talking about the plot. I want to highlight one specific
key
scene.
moment.
Yeah, one key moment.
There you go.
You highlighted like the entire movie. One key moment. I think it's just a scene that sticks with me when Shrek first arrives to Lord Farquaad's castle, and it's the little people singing the song, and there's an innuendo to wipe your, I can't say it, but and then he goes in and he just destroys everyone. And Lord Farquaad was like, "Oh, this is that scene always sticks with me. The pure silence was like, it's quiet, too quiet. I mean, come on. If you haven't quoted that, I don't know what you're doing. And that key, it's not a key moment, but it's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
But it's not a key moment. The debate, it's not a key moment, but it's my favorite scenes in the movie. The debate was a key moment.
Well, I couldn't tell what the question was because you just started rambling about random stuff.
We're going to move on to our next question here.
Awesome.
We talked about soundtrack. We talked about plot. There are a lot of common characters in between both of these films, but there are some that are unique. Which unique character do you think makes your film superior? Ben, we'll start with you.
I mean, I'm going with Lord Farquaad. He is just an excellent character, fantastically written. I mean, he kidnaps the gingerbread man and starts chopping off his feet. He has Mama Bear as a rug in his room. I mean, he is just the best character. Shrek is like, oh, his castle's so big. I wonder if he's compensating for something because he's so small. I mean, Lord Farquaad is just an unbelievable character, and honestly, it just makes the movie just so much better.
The dynamic duo of Prince Charming and Fairy Godmother, by far, and I combine them as a duo because they're both sort of not even separated at the hip, even though one's the mom and one's the son. You just lay eyes on both of those characters, and you know right away that they're the villain. They disgust you when you watch that movie. And again, it is a unique character to that film. Prince Charming does appear in Shrek 3rd as well, but only for a brief cameo. In terms of Shrek 2, those two, the villains of that movie, are the dynamic duo. They're the unique characters. And by the way, too, this is a prevailing point on everything. Shrek 2 has more unique characters than Shrek 1. They build on what they had and have so much
John,
more.
we're running out of time.
Yes.
Final point. 5 seconds. Last point. Why is your film superior?
Because of everything I listed, I don't even need to continue debate.
Ben?
Soundtrack, characters.
No Shrek 2 without Shrek 1. It's the original.
No. You could say that
Stop
about
talking.
anything.
He has to wrap the show, John.
Say that about anything.
It was a pleasure.
There's no Shrek 3, 4, Wii video games, Xbox
John,
Series video games.
We're out of time, unfortunately.
YouTube videos.
But thank
Shrek
you
is
so
love.
much for your enthusiasm, your points, your energy. And that's going to wrap up this edition of Master Debating. When we come back, we will be joined by TikTok sensation Pete Johans. And honestly, who knows what he's going to talk about? Stay tuned.